What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. With the World Cup in full swing, we're featuring a custom gaming rig by Ron Lee Christianson of Blue Horse Studios for Brazilian midfielder Lucas Paquetá.
Meu nome é Lucas Paquetá, tenho 28 anos, sou atleta profissional de futebol do Flamengo e da seleção brasileira e também me considero um gamer. Eu gosto bastante de jogar o Counter-Strike, o Call of Duty também. FIFA, todos sabem que eu gosto de jogar, mas às vezes eu me arrisco no PUBG e no Fortnite também. Eu comecei a jogar com 8 anos. Na minha cidade, em Paquetá, existia uma lan house, que era onde tinham 5 computadores e você pagava um dinheiro para poder acessar. E eu ia com meus amigos, meus familiares. Então foi o meu primeiro contato. A gente jogava o Counter-Strike 1.6. Então ali foi o primeiro contato que eu tive com o mundo game. E assim se desenvolveu essa paixão. Bom, eu tô ansioso para ver o resultado. Confesso que eu fiquei muito feliz com o primeiro projeto que me apresentaram. É algo que realmente eu gosto muito, eu me identifico muito. Particularmente, dificilmente eu tenho coisas a querer comprar ou a querer ter. Eu sou muito tranquilo quanto a isso, mas em questão de computador, de ter algo para jogar o meu jogo, que eu gosto de me descontrair, é algo que me traz muita felicidade, então eu tô ansioso para receber.
Well, hey there Ron, welcome back to GeForce Garage. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with the concept for this build?
Yeah, NVIDIA reached out to us to create a custom PC for Brazilian and Flamengo midfielder Lucas Paquetá. And it just made sense for us to celebrate his heritage and build things that were very Brazilian. We have the Christ the Redeemer statue and the Maracanã stadium. And then we added some other Brazilian tapestries, like with the etching on the side of the case. And of course, the coloring of the RGB fans just to tie in that heritage and color.
Well, yeah, it seems like you've done a lot of work on this thing. Can you tell us a little bit about the process of how you tackled each section?
Yeah, so once we submitted the mock-ups and we kind of knew what Lucas wanted, we started kind of finding what we could create. Like, we had to send the model off to get it 3D modeled of the stadium, as well as the Christ the Redeemer statue. And once, the models were complete, we could start 3D printing the parts. During that stage, while the models were being built, I started working on the base of the PC that houses the chassis and all the components for the PC. And I also wanted to tie in something that was very Brazilian. So we have, like on the acrylic, we have this Brazilian etch pattern that we etched onto the acrylic as well. We did all the trim on the outside, sanded everything down, and then stained it in a nice Brazilian rosewood color. There is some import laws when it comes to certain types of species of wood that can be imported in Brazil. So we just went with pine on this just to be safe.
I think you did an incredible job. I really like the woodwork in here. I think that, it definitely provides a great space to have the Maracanã Stadium up on the top and the Christ the Redeemer in the back here. What would you say was the most difficult part of this build?
The tedium part of the build was probably just the sanding and piecing the Maracanã Stadium together. It was printed in several parts, so making it seamless was a little tough, but we got it done.
Is there any little detail in this build that someone may not notice when they first look at it?
Yeah, so there's I don't know if you look down into the stadium here. The stadium, the seats are all painted just like the Maracanã Stadium if you were to look at it like on a Google image. So we painted the inside of the stadium. There's internal lighting in the stadium that can be adjusted through a remote control as well. And since it's etched onto the acrylic, the glow of the hardware actually illuminates the pitch of the field. So if you look down into the PC, you can see the glowing GeForce RTX and the XPG memory.
Okay, well, while we're on the topic of hardware, what's actually inside the PC?
Yeah, so for the motherboard, we're using the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi. We paired that with the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D CPU. We have 64 gigs of XPG memory, and they also provided a 1 terabyte drive, a 4 terabyte drive, the AIO, and all the cooling fans. We have a 1,000 watt power supply also provided by XPG, custom cables by Bespoke Baka, and of course the GeForce RTX 5080.
Okay, well, sounds like a pretty gnarly PC.
Yeah, he's gonna love it.
How about we install a couple of games and see how well it performs?
Let's do it.
First up is Fortnite. At epic detail at 4K with DLSS set to performance, we stayed around 180 to 200 FPS. Next up is Counter-Strike, and in a friendly game against bots at 4K with the high preset, I saw an average of 200 to 220 FPS. Over in PUBG at 4K with everything set to Ultra, we saw FPS around 150. And lastly, in FC26 at max detail with ray tracing and at 4K, we saw around 240 FPS during gameplay and about 80 in the cutscenes.
Yeah, let's see. Meu Deus do céu. Oh my god. How is possible? Que irado, mano. Eu nem sabia que tinha como fazer um computador desse jeito. Bizarro. Muito show. Olha lá, Bruno. Bruno, say. Fala em inglês com ele aí, pô. Fala, quero também. Fala aí, fala aí.
I want the same, man.
Lucas, best of luck to you and your squad. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you for the next one.